Trauma breeds unworthiness. This is a really important subject that I want to touch on today because it's a recent processing understanding that I've had. Something that I realized, I think this is fair to say, is that most people have, as I spoke about in my last video, have put themselves into hiding, and thus they're not expressing their true selves because of their traumas, because of whatever they went through as a kid or in life. I think it's really sad. Also, again, had this big aha about that because for a while I was feeling really bad about that within myself. I'm like, I get it that trauma makes us feel unworthy. Why should we? Do you know what I mean? Like, why should it make us feel even worse that we went through something difficult? And I was sitting with it, and what I just realized was simply that it's a coping mechanism. It's a survival skill, essentially. Because something negative happens to us. And usually, most of us, we kind of recoil and come into ourselves when that happens. We go like, oh, that's not okay. Like, oh, I did something wrong or whatever. And more often than not, I think it's fair to say, people withdraw inside. And they perhaps, what's really crazy is that, especially if this is when you're a young person, usually withdraw so much and that quite often, sorry for that squeaking if you can hear that. I don't know what that is. What's really crazy is, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, this was a relatively new learning to me within the past few years, that when we are between the ages of 0 and 7 years old, we are essentially our most malleable. What does that mean? It means that during the years of 0 to 7, now that's a pretty long span of time if you ask me, that everything, and I really want to make this a big point, everything that we take in from the external stimulus, it basically goes into us. We are just like absolute sponges, and it's like from everywhere, all of the sights, sounds, environments, words that were used, vibes that were there, you know, the entire thing is what we absorbed from the years of 0 to 7. So what that unfortunately means, and again, why I wanted to speak about trauma leading to unworthiness, is that I think it's just the saddest thing ever. And quite frankly, I'd like to do something about it, to be at least some small voice of doing something about that. Because look, if it's true that I've heard so many spiritual people talk about this, that most of the world, I also agree with this, has trauma because of the nature of growing up in society in general, then I feel like it's someone's, maybe not responsibility, someone should step up and say, hey, you don't have to live like this. It's okay. Once you realize that you are simply doing this because you're afraid, because you had something bad happen to you when you were young. Example, I once knew someone who was essentially holding themselves back because what they didn't realize was they were feeling like their father wasn't there for them because they didn't matter to them, when in fact it was actually that their father needed to work. Now, my point about bringing that up is to give you the example that while on one side of that equation the father was going to work to take care of his son, on the son's side it was, it's my birthday and daddy's not here, so that means I'm unworthy. So I want to point this out because we take the craziest meanings, because we're young. I mean, we're 0 to 7 years old. We take sometimes the absolutely craziest meanings away from certain situations in our life. And quite honestly, it's not necessary for us to carry that with us for so long. Use me as an example. I've carried this for way many more years than I would like to admit. Again, the ultimate point of me making the video now is that I want to encourage any of you out there now who recognize this within yourself, who are like, oh wow, I've kind of been like stifling myself. If you catch yourself saying, if someone asks you if you want to drink or you don't want to drink, talking about, you know, juices or something, teas, you guys know I don't drink alcohol. Let's say someone offers you a drink and you don't want to drink. Question to then ask yourself is your response according to what you actually want, or is your response according to being polite to that person? You know, that's actually a personal example. When I was younger, when I would go over to a friend's house, I would be too shy at the time to like acknowledge if their mother or father or whoever asked me, would you like a drink, honey, or like, would you like some juice? I would always be like, oh no, I'm fine. Don't be that person. My point is to always start. If you haven't done it before, to start checking in with yourself. Whenever a question arises or whenever a choice in your life needs to be made, check in with yourself. And let's say you feel the need to go out somewhere. Someone asks you if you want to go out. You're like, okay, yeah, I'll go. before you actually go, or before you actually even say yes to the person, ideally, check in with yourself and go just in a quiet moment somewhere where you can be peaceful for just a minute, and check in and ask yourself, do I want to do this? And if the answer is no, or maybe is just a no, then don't do it. Really don't do it, because that you're honoring then your inner self. And as I spoke about again in another recent video, every single time that we honor ourselves, we're building self-trust, and better yet, we're building our own intuition. Your intuition will only get stronger and stronger as you practice honoring thyself. It's really very important. Hopefully this hasn't been too waffly of a video. I had to cut it in half because there's a heck of a lot of noise going out around here, as you can probably hear. Hopefully you get the point. All of us learned to hide our true selves. So you are not alone if you've been surviving by hiding your true self. And also understand that you no longer have to do so. And actually a funny thing happens, that once you begin to actually let yourself, your true authentic expression of yourself, come out and do the things that they want to do, your life feels so much better once you begin to honor your needs. Oh, and the other side point about that was that then people respect you. And the part about that is that because you haven't set a false precedent with how you're acting, because you are acting from your truest self, then I don't know, it's a whole cycle that feeds on itself and becomes this authentic gem in your life, and will grow you and grow the people around you and grow the respect that people have for you and grow the love that they have for you, because, as weird as it sounds, because you're actually taking care of yourself first and foremost by doing that. I hope this hasn't been too convoluted of a video. I hope it inspired you to stop absolutely right now, if you've been hiding any part of yourself, to just let yourself free, honey. Let yourself be free. This life is not for you to hide. And I can absolutely attest to this. You know, you guys, well, you may or may not know, struggled with psoriasis for a very long time, and I still technically have it. I'm on medicines to suppress it. Again, a whole subject for another video, which I will make. But meanwhile, I get to enjoy my life because thankfully the medicine that I'm on works. And I also know what it's like to be so self-conscious, because my skin was utterly covered in this and I was genuinely just embarrassed. So my point is, I know what it's like to hide, and I know what it's like to be free. And I can tell you that it is literally just in your own choice. As painful as it is when someone first tells you that suffering is a choice, and as sobering as it is, it's the absolute truth. Your body and your intuition knows that truth is truth. So if this video has helped you, please do share it with anyone you think it might help, or that it can encourage to really come out of their shell. Subscribe, as it really helps out a small content creator like myself very, very much. And ding the bell. And last but not least, if you, beautiful spirit soul, need any support or coaching, you can reach out to me here at this address, where it would be my pleasure to help and serve you. So without further ado, have a beautiful and a blessed rest of your day. Namaste, much love, and I will see you, beautiful cats, in the next one. Stay healthy. Bye. So and okay, you guys know I don't drink alcohol, which is completely ridiculous, I realize now. But I know what it's like to hide, and I know what it's like to be free. But I also much, and that quite often, sorry for that. It also threw me off topic, and be like, this life is not for you to hide. Let yourself be free. It's honoring thyself.